Hey guys, it's TheFrXion here, or Tank12, however you can call me, I don't really care. And today, once again on the test server, there's still a lot of things that we have to check out. And one of the things being is the Amx M4 54, and look at this massive tank. Now this is the brand new tier 10 French heavy tank that will be joining the game in 9.21. Its main characteristics is that it has armor, so if you compare it to the Amx 50B, this tank, no armor at all, autoloader tank. This tank, on the other hand, not an autoloading tank, but with a lot of armor on the turret and on the hull. The very first thing you will notice on this vehicle is that it is huge. And the second thing that you will notice probably is when you open the tech tree and you have unlocked this tank, the grind for this vehicle is not completely done. So from the Amx M4 45, you go all the way up to the Amx M4 54, and there is a new line. You get the Amx 65T and the Amx M4 51. I will make videos to all of these tanks regarding them separately. I will make a review to this tank, to this vehicle, and right now we're making a little preview to this one. Excuse me, I didn't want to say a review, but preview. So what did I mean with your grind is not completely finished when you have unlocked this vehicle? Well, it does have two guns. It's a very similar situation to the IS-4. If you look at the IS-4 in the tech tree, you will see that there are two guns on this vehicle. But most of you already have unlocked the tier 10 gun because it only runs with a tier 7 gun, tier 8 gun, very, very bad gun. And that gun you will actually unlock through the ST1. Previously, you could skip it, so you didn't have the IS-4 top gun. And some people, just skipped it with XP, free XP, and then they didn't have the top gun. Here, on the other hand, this gun is just for this tank, and it's a 130mm gun, and I'll show you guys just how it looks. It looks kind of ridiculous. It looks like a huge pipe, and it got different characteristics. Obviously, less penetration but more damage. So the guns suit different playstyles. Let's say this one is for more aggressive pushes, while this one over here has much better rate of fire, much better. Okay, not much better, but a little bit better penetration, and is more accurate. So it's considered to be one of those nice guns for sniping. So we're gonna just put on some things. We're gonna put on a little bit of a camouflage just to show you guys what this tank would look like in a real server situation when people would actually get their hands on this vehicle. And the very first thing I want to show you guys right now is just how ridiculous it kind of looks. It's a huge tank. Look at this turret. The turret almost spans the exact same length as the hull, and this tank is enormous. I've been playing it, and I've just noticed it when you're next to other vehicles. It just looks so ridiculous. Like in the garage, all of the tanks look like kind of similar, but look at the size difference from. No, let's look at the M6. This is a huge tank as well. From like height point of view, the M6 obviously out matches the. I know that the M6 outmatches the MX, but from the length, look at that. The length of this vehicle is enormous. So a huge side shotting potential. Like once you get the sight on this thing, it's almost game over. And yeah, pretty big vehicle. So let's take a look at the firepower, take a look at the stats, and then as always, as we do this, we go into the game. Today we actually try out two games because we're going to try out the new, like the other gun, the 130mm gun, and the 120mm gun. So average damage per shot is 400, pen 264 with the standard AP round. If you want to know what the APCR round does, 325 pen. That's kind of standard for those premium rounds for the heavy tanks. Then reload time 10.45 seconds. I do not have the best crew on it. Probably would change. You could get it down probably all the way to maybe best would be 8.9, 8.8. But you could probably reduce it a bit. Actually, we can try that right now. Try reducing it. Getting all the best equipment on. Let's go put this one on. Yeah, just without even training a crew, you can already get it to 8.9. And actually, we can get the improved version. Ah, crap. Completely forgot the improved version. And we're gonna put on the improved gun laying drive. Since I will never be able to unlock any of those improved things, since I'm not playing any kind of stronghold or shit like that, I'll have to get it through earning, you know, those awards. I will never be able to get that. So, let's move on. Turret traverse speed, 34.3, 13 degrees per second. Like, it's a huge turret. I didn't expect any faster. It's okay, in my opinion. Gun depression and elevation, minus 8 degrees gun depression, 15 degrees of gun elevation, which is kind of... Well, I'm kind of confused. 8 degrees of gun elevation is not very good. If we compare it to the Super Conqueror, it's also 15. I'm kind of confused right now because I thought like 18 was not as great, but it looks like it's the standard gun elevation. So I'm not going to be complaining about that right now. Aim time 1.5 seconds is pretty incredible. If we would compare once again to the Super Conqueror with 1.92, it's already pretty good. 1.63, the FE215B, a very, very, very good sniper tank. And this one has 1.5 seconds aim time until the reticle is completely full. If we compare it to the 130mm 1.84, rate of fire is 4.63, reload time is 13 seconds, 560 average damage per shot. Dispersion is a little bit less, it's a bit worse, not as accurate as the other gun, obviously. Less dispersion is always better, like the number smaller is always better. And you can see you have some more DPM. Let's go to survivability. This tank is huge. It does have 2200 HP. It's the very first French tier 10 heavy tank with armor, or the very first, like the best armored heavy tank. This one obviously was in the game previously. Made a lot of people mad. I can understand why. It's very, very strong. And this one will probably be no different. So 220 millimeter frontal armor, 60 on the side, 40 on the rear, easily penetrable with high explosive, 300 millimeters of frontal armor on the turret. You can forget getting through this tank. It has a huge, like a massive, excuse me, right here. What do you call it again? I just forgot it. It has a absolute massive gun mount. Exactly, that was it. And you can see like no good angles. Do not try to penetrate the turret of this tank. Maybe the cupola will give you some shots. It's just not very big. It's kind of difficult to hit that tank from far away. I think the lower plate, obviously down here, will be a weak spot, but it's angled very nicely. So you have this little bar that you can maybe penetrate, but other than that, like the lower plate is very difficult. But once again, it's a French heavy tank, so once it will turn its side like this, and you have a little bit of an angle, you can actually track it, still penetrate the hull. You can go through the cheeks right here, and once you have the side, you can completely finish it. And obviously, the turret being this big is a big plus and a big minus, since the front is very well protected, and for the other people on the other side, it's obviously a huge target. If you have the side of this turret, just like the Amx 50B, it is fairly large. But the other thing on the Amx 50B is just that the turret is not very well armored. On this one, though, the turret is very well armored. So do not shoot the front, shoot the side or the rear. Mobility. Well, how is this tank? Is it fast? Is it good? 1200 horsepower engine. 40 kilometers forward, 15 backwards, 34.13 traverse speed, not too bad, quite mobile actually for this kind of armor protection that you have on it. Would not complain. Let's go at concealment. Concealment obviously worse. I think worse concealment on any heavy tank because it's just so big. Spotting, yeah, obviously standard spotting mechanics. 400 meters. Don't have the best square on it, but it's enough talking. Let's get into a game, and we're gonna be once again playing the game and be doing a live action commentary because somehow the replay system does not work right now, and that is just too bad. And if you have noticed, I may sound a little bit tired. I just gotten out of bed. It's quite late actually as well. Yeah, definitely not my plan to be getting up this late most of the time. So we're playing a tier 10 match as expected, since it's a test server. Always keep in mind this is a test server, people will be shooting gold, and we are on the map Serene Coast, and one of the places where heavy tanks actually go is down the island, but we are gonna make it a little bit more special since we are kind of a sniper tank. We will actually follow the medium tanks over to C1, and then we'll see how well this tank will cope if there are a lot of tanks around it, like on the side, because the turret is huge and I'm expecting to be shot like at the turret, on the left, on the right, all over the place, and that's going to be very interesting. Actually, this would have been a perfect map or the perfect position to do that with the 130mm gun, since it does do more damage, and the 250mm pen is more than enough to go up against those medium tanks. But, you know, I'm gonna just try it out with the 120mm sniper gun, because we do have quite a lot of support. Now the second, the premium ammo on the 130mm gun is very similar to the premium ammo on the, let's just see, oh beautiful. It's very similar to the premium ammunition on the SU-100Y. It is not a APCR round or a heat round. That would be just kind of ridiculous for that kind of gun. But actually, you know what it is? It is a standard AP round that just does more damage. I think a little bit of penetration drop off, and then you have some pretty damn good armor pen. Now, I know we're playing a little bit of a defensive role right here because, well, our side is not as well armored, and we're also running a sniper gun, but at the same time we cannot just leave our medium tanks in the front here. Letting them die would not be very fair to them, since we do have the front armor. And you can see right here, the side cheek, if you get them a little bit too much of an angle, they will be able to penetrate. And with the 8 degrees of gun compression, you should be quite cozy in this position. And there we go. This T62A will have no chance against us. Same goes for that one. And just as I say that, he manages to put a heat round into our tank, and I have no idea where he put that one in. But obviously, this is... oh god. Now, I kind of have underestimated the pen of heat. I mean, it is over 300 millimeters, I think. But you just need to show them where to shoot you and where not to shoot you. And actually, I have no idea, but that one shot my turret. The very first shot that actually penetrated my turret, and that was the gun mantlet. But as always, this is the test server. Nothing here is final. Changes might still apply, and as always, people are shooting gold in the test server because they can, and they will. That is just the nature of the test server. But still, as you can see, the armor did not hold up as well as we expected, but the gun was very, very, very accurate, very nice. Nice gun handling, nice gun depression, allowed you to crest that ridge line, and at the same time, we had more than enough hit points to actually take those shots. So even if you're in a bad situation like that, that situation also showed us that this tank can take quite a few hits. But obviously, if you're going up against tank destroyers, that will change quite drastically because one hit will take quite a few of hit points away from you. And I'm just trying to get a shot. There we go. We got our third kill in this game, and it was a FV 4005, the only Death Star remaining in the game. At least the only Death Star that you can unlock in the game. And you could see right there, 1,600 damage is just, it's kind of pathetic. The amount of damage that people can do with those tanks. Pretty darn crazy. So, yeah, that Panzerkampfwagen 6 is also one of the tanks that oh, 7, excuse me, is also one of the tanks I will be grinding for eventually. I do have the VK 4502 and the tier 8 variant, not the tier 9. I think it's the, what is it called, the B or the A? I think it's the A, because the B should be the second one. And there you go. Easy finish for us. Didn't even look our way, obviously because the FE was coming his way. And now we maybe can still get a bit of action over there in the spawn of the enemy vehicles, since there is a Foch. And now we can just show off the accuracy of this gun, the aim time that is almost non-existent, and damage output. I thought that Foch would... Yes, there we go. That's exactly what I expected. Sometimes all you have to do is, you know, just imagine, or not imagine, imagining is the wrong word, but to expect certain moves of the enemy, and that will allow you to actually use that to your advantage, and you can finish off the enemies very easily by just having the right position, or aiming at the right position. And you can see right there, 6 kills, 3,564 damage, and we've lost quite a lot of hit points. Our armor did not really come to play in this round. It was kind of demolished, but that is also good news, or good news in general. If the armor is not completely overpowered, maybe we'll be able to best this tank, because I've seen places where this tank cannot be beaten with its turret, and you will need the premium rounds. I think that it's just kind of it's the wrong kind of way to go about things. Actually, I will make a video about this eventually regarding the Badger and the Amx, because Wargaming has decided to bring more tanks into the game that have unreasonable amounts of armor, 355 millimeters of armor, the thickest armored tank in the game, and almost nothing goes through these tanks if you have the right position. And like the side and the rear are obviously always terribly armored, but the front is just so overpowered, so that you have to spam gold if you face them to even have a chance to go through, like with standard rounds, which makes standard APCR or AP rounds kind of useless, and well, makes us, or forces us to get that premium time, because obviously premium ammunition is very expensive, and without a premium account you'll be grinding for a long time. So yeah, it's just kind of my take on things. And let's check out this game with let's check out this tank with the 130mm gun. Players in queue 404, 437, and you can see most of them are tank destroyers or heavy tanks, and that being the Amx, the brand new, and the brand new Badger. People are excited about them. They should be. They're very interesting tanks. I think the Badger is a very interesting tank design, highest DPM. You can go up to 4,800 damage per minute, which is kind of mad. And best armor in the game, so it's kind of a very, very awkward mix of tanks, of characteristics. But at the same time, if you look at it, the Tortoise did have the highest DPM before that. So it's just natural that the tier 10 would have the highest DPM as well, but I just did not expect a tank that would be so strong with its frontal armor. Like 250 millimeters of pen is not enough to go through that tank because it has 100 millimeters of armor additionally. It's like it has 105 armor extra. So even if you have 325 millimeters of pen, well, you're gonna have a bad time. Oh, and actually, I was kind of wrong about the pen on the premium ammo on this tank. The pen is higher, and it's not the damage output that is higher, so I was kind of wrong. But it's only higher by 30 millimeters. I think I will not see this kind of gun in a lot of on a lot of Amx M4s because it doesn't seem to be as competitive, like from statistics, as far as I can tell. In the direct comparison to the other gun, the 120mm gun, I think people will probably be able to change, to take maybe a bit of a lower damage gun, just to have a better pen, better pen characteristics with the standard and premium rounds. And right now, like, just keep in mind, this is a test server. I have to say that over and over again because things here do not happen as they would happen in the standard World of Tanks servers, because that Grille just ran over the street, that E100 just ran over the street, and you have tanks huddling over there at one spot. That is not going to happen. I'm happy that such things do not happen in the live server, at least not that often. And yeah, so let's see. There's an Amx M4 going up against our clone, and we try to hit that cupola on top, and it does seem like he has the no, he's the same gun as me. And he actually manages to pen us, 513. And you can see it does hurt a lot when they hit you. When they pen you, it does hurt very, very, very much. And there we go. A tank that we can finally shoot without having to worry about the penetration. And right now, this is a very, very bad situation. There's a Badger over there. A friendly Badger that was just taken care of. And we did not penetrate that tank. Now it's back-to-back, at least, with a Super Conqueror. That Super Conqueror just died. And now you're in a position where you can do absolutely jack shit to the Badger. And always, there are sometimes games where you cannot show the full potential of the tank because you've played a little bit too aggressive, too stupid, and because it's a test server. So we'll try to go back in the next game, and I'll see you guys in that one. So, we're joining another game because the first one was absolute trash. And, well, that is the obvious problem that you have with live action commentary and gameplay. Sometimes you just cannot foresee what kind of result you will have in the game. So, I'll still keep it in this video because obviously it is one consecutive video. I'm not gonna cut it like that. But let's try to get a better game. Now this is a good city map. We're playing on Pilsen, and the matchup is very nice. There are a few medium tanks on our team and on their team. Quite a few light tanks as well, and a few tank destroyers. Now obviously you could see in the previous game that Badger, once he face-tugged us, it was kind of over. That thing has over 270 millimeters of pen. He will be able to go through my front plate I think without a doubt, or if he's loading premium ammunition, he just has to, you know, be close enough and then to aim down, because if he aims down like at this angle, he will be able to penetrate my tank, since the angle would not suffice anymore, and it would be like his chance to shoot me like right in the face. And right now, let's test the armor potential of this tank. We've already bounced 1040 HP worth of shots. But obviously you cannot bounce a Jagdpanzer E100 heat shell that goes over 400 millimeters of penetration. And as you can see, HP wise, I said previously against those medium tanks, it holds up fairly nicely, but against such tank destroyers, you have, or you stand pretty much no chance. Now I missed my opportunity to cross over this side right now to get into the fight with that light and medium, with that light and medium tank. What the hell are they doing over there? And you just can't see that this tank absolutely with this kind of no sniper, just not reliable enough. It does aim fast enough. 1.84 second aim time is quite ridiculous for this kind of gun, for such a setup, but at the same time it's... Oh no. Holy shit, I just saw him on the minimap. There we go, 572, hit the weak spot on the T124, and I think that thing is going to get blasted by all the medium tanks over there. Looks like everyone is rallying around that tank, and you know what, we're gonna finish him off. I'm sorry about the not so classy gameplay, because I just have the feeling that we're running around here, not really helping our team as much as we should be. But I mean, it's a test server. You just have to play. You have to actually, all you have to do is you have to adjust to the way that people play, adapt, and survive. So we're gonna get some heavy tanks from the other side here, and quite a few mediums that actually decided to push with them. And now it's going to get interesting, because this tank now can prove its armor worth against the Badger. And we will never penetrate that Badger from the front, at least from this position. He has a very good spot. This game actually is still quite open. Might be a win or a loss yet still, but they have a lot of their tanks in that city. And let's see that we can get that bad Chatillon. Oh, and we finish him off. But we got lucky there because someone tracked him. We would have obviously, or we would have probably missed him. And now let's see if we can pen the Badger. The Badger obviously shifts his attention to me. And we can actually penetrate the lower plate, which is the weak spot, the main weak spot of this vehicle. Aim for that. 250 millimeters of pen is enough to go through that tank. So that's a good sign. If he is not in a good position, the Badger is going to be able to get destroyed. And right now we do have the lower plate, and now this is actually where the Badger does not want to be. Tracked, alone, in a bad spot where he can't protect his lower plate, but he still managed to penetrate us, and we bounce off the lower plate. Now that is very interesting, very interesting. As you can see right there, he managed to penetrate our cheek, and it's a test server, obviously. So actually it was not a bad game. 4,661 damage dealt in a close quarter situation. We lost very much HP at the beginning with that one hit from the Jagdpanzer E100. Obviously, heat, you will not be able to bounce that, but that we still managed to bounce 2,000 HP of damage of the tank, and we managed to get 4.6k damage with standard AP rounds against some lightly armored tanks. If you remember what we hit, we shot the T62A, we shot the Batchat, we shot the T124, which is, well, quite good armor, but still, we shot even a Badger. We managed to penetrate the first Badger on the lower plate, the second one, at least on the side twice, but not on the lower plate on the third shot. But it shows you that these tanks do not have like the best side armor. Once you have their sides, like there are too many tanks, that thing is just gone for, because the front, well, it's not on the side, you do not have the same armor. So it's kind of trollish. You just have to see where you're positioning yourself. If you have the ability, like it makes team play so much more valuable if someone actually goes in and flanks them, which is a big plus point, but at the same time also a big minus, because who knows if team play in World of Tanks is actually working. I've played more than enough games, and I know that team play is kind of a concept foreign in World of Tanks. It does happen on very rare occurrences, but still. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little video. I will see you guys on the next one. Probably cover the tier 9 version of this tank and the tier 8, just to see what those poor tier 8, tier 7, and even tier 6 tanks will have to face on the battlefield. And I'll see you guys on the next one.